Hi, I'm Carla Ward, Aston Villa manager, and I'm here with this lot for the No Bounce Challenge.
OK, Carla, first up for the Aston Villa Women's No Bounce Challenge. Who are you putting forward?
Liv Mack. Young Liv Mack.
This is what we'll all be trying Boxing Day. More from Villa on that No Bounce Challenge on Inside the WSL. They're special available on YouTube this week and every Inside the WSL as well. Yours to watch whenever you like on YouTube. Now, I hate to break this to you, I'm no professional footballer fan, but that looks fairly easy, doesn't it? The No Bounce Challenge?
I'd say it looks a bit easy, and I think Kaz agreed with me.
I'd probably shank it, so don't get me involved. Don't get me involved.
Spoke too soon, probably.
Guess what we're doing at the end of this one?
Oh, no, please don't.
All right, there's some time for you to practice. While she practices, let's hear from Carla Ward, the Villa boss. Her challenge in front of her today, Arsenal, with another reshuffle of her squad. She's been talking to Lindsay Hooper and Laura Bassett.
As the main stand starts to fill up here at Villa Park ahead of Aston Villa against Arsenal with our live WSL action, I am joined by Laura Bassett and Aston Villa manager Carla Ward. And prior to this kick-off, Carla, you've had some issues with injuries, but where are you at for today?
Yeah, look, we've got, ultimately it's 11v11, isn't it, out there, and it's one of those days where you have to roll your sleeves up, and I think this group of players will. Of course, we lost Freya in the week to what looks like a fairly serious injury, so that's disappointing. But yeah, we've got a couple of outfield players on the bench, but look, it is what it is. It's that time of year, you know, you pick up injuries. We've picked up quite a few, which is a shame, but the players that will go out there will be ready, that's for sure.
In order for you to get back to winning ways in the league, where's the focus been this week in the preparation? I know obviously you played Sheffield, you got back to winning ways, but in the league, where's the focus really been this week?
I think today's going to be about being tight, compact, disciplined, patient, because look, you know, Arsenal like to dominate the ball. I think last week we probably opened ourselves up a little bit too much, so I think the focus is going to be around, you know, the centre of the pitch. Can we close the gaps? Can we frustrate them? I think that's going to be key. Yeah, and I think the biggest word today is going to be discipline, and I think we're going to need a lot of it.
You have got two 18-year-olds in the middle of the park there, and we saw last weekend at Old Trafford as well just how short your bench options were, which points us towards January and the transfer window. Having someone like Rachel Daly in this squad, is that going to help you attract a better calibre of player, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, but I actually think being at the football club will attract players. You know, it's a great place to be. You can see it here, it's filling up already. We get the great support. We've got a good squad. We're playing, you know, a good style of football this year. But yeah, having the people like Rach Daly, Kenza Darley in the squad, obviously people want to play with those players, so that will help. But yeah, like you alluded to, after this game, the window will be open for us, and yeah, we'll certainly be looking to delve into it and bolster the squad.
I want to add another question on Rach Daly, obviously Player of the Month for November, Kenza Darley, two top-class international players. Having coached them now, worked with them on a day-to-day basis, what really impresses you about them from a coach's point of view? Like, is it their winning mentality, coachability, learning? Is it just their aura? What is it that's impressed you?
It's a winning mentality. I love it. I love they're passionate, very passionate. They're hungry for everything to be perfect. You know, they get after people every day, and I love that as a player. You know what it used to be like.
Off you, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. And if you think how maybe we used to play the game, it was wholehearted, and they are very much wholehearted. They're winners. They have a mentality, and they bring people along with them. So yeah, it's been unbelievable to work with them both.
And speaking about hunger, Rachel Daly, I mean, you told me last week that she was desperate to get that Player of the Month for November. She got that. How desperate will she be to score here in front of the whole 10 potentially?
Yeah, no, listen, she loves playing here. She scored 4 in 2 games here. So yeah, look, she's been unwell actually the last few days, and we had to assess her this morning. She's fit, so she's ready to go. She's always hungry to play. You cannot get off the pitch. You take her off in the 90th minute, she's not happy. You know, she wants to play every minute of every game, but no, she's been sensational for us, and she'll be wanting to get one certainly over Arsenal today. And hopefully more games to come here at Villa Park over the course of the season. Carla, thank you very much for your time. Yours as well, Laura. And we wish you all the best for this game against Arsenal. Kick-off at 4:15.
Thank you, Lindsay. I love that attitude, that mentality, Karen, and that's what they're going to need after that result against Manchester United.
Yeah, they are, and we'll see some of the Rachel Daly antics in the clips, actually, which is brilliant. But you're right, when you lose 5-0, you've got to go back to basics, and I think sometimes in football the results kind of rip it up and move on because it was one of them days for Aston Villa. But there's 2 clips I'm going to show where the communication, the structure wasn't quite right, and the third clip, when it was right, they get good opportunities, and I think that's what Carla was speaking about there. They get it right, start with the fundamentals, they should be fine. So this is now pressing from the front, which for me, it starts off well. Rach Daly, hunting, pressing. Kenza Darley's on a deep line midfielder, forcing it back, good shape. Now, this is where it's meant to switch. So Rach Daly is actually really animated. I'm going to highlight her. This is where she's animated. That's the winning mentality that she's on about, where she should be saying, Kenza Darley, you should be getting out there. I've pressed here. I'm going to go in here. Get out and press the ball. And it doesn't happen. It's delayed. It's late. Look, she's furious with her. She eventually goes. And to be fair to Darley, she does right. Pressing isn't quite on, but she blocks the passing line. So you're going, OK, fine. But what happens now is, because I think Rach is a winning mentality, she's frustrated and she's gone and pressed to try and get around a deep line midfielder. It's not really on. You don't need to do it, Rach. And now all of a sudden, everyone's on one side. And now, Fern, you're the centre-half. Tell me about this now.
Yeah, you know, she's gone too far. Like, that ball cannot come back across because as a centre-half now, Maya Tissier is just licking her lips and thinking, I've got all that space to run into. You can, with the actual quality that Maya's got as well, and the players she's got in front of her, Maya can drive, she can open up the pitch, and Rachel Daly's obviously now shattered from all that running she's done. So if she was to get back on the ball again, you know, potentially she's not got the quality. So for me, I think obviously she needed to kind of stop that passing line. Maya can now dribble and drive. She can play into Ella Toon. She can do a long diagonal. So she needs to be a little bit more disciplined there.
But I think the main thing is your best players doing doggies, and you just don't want that to happen. And that's not a criticism, over-criticism of Rach Daly because she's been phenomenal, but it's about the structure and the communication, which needed to be better. Now, Ella Toon there, I'm just going to take it slightly back. Ella Toon then, just from the setup, can find passes into here. You've got 2 threats to the back line, all just because the front line press wasn't quite right. Now, the next clip, everyone laughs at me and my structure about throw-ins. But again, first clip, structure. Second clip, structure from a throw-in. It's really simple. And Nikita Paris is out of the picture, but this is quite right. She's got 1 on toes, 1 in front. Nikita Paris can't get it. Now, the problem for me is here, she can't get it to feet, Russo. That throw can't happen. So either Rachel Corsey's got to go and screen and everyone tucks across. Rogue little pass there. But it can't go into the centre forward because she can roll here, she can go forward. But even worse now, Ella Toon has ran off the back here. So
on
again,
communication again there, though, Kaz, isn't it? As a centre-half, I'd be screaming, saying, come and get toes, come and protect me a little bit, and no one's done the toes there, so that's how it all starts and how it unfolds.
Exactly. So it goes in, runs off the back, 1 forward pass, 2 forward pass. I mean, it's a brilliant way to pass from Ella Toon, absolute magnificent. And you're in at the back line, all from this goal, all from, again, structure of something that you can control. You can control a front press, you can control a throw-in. Now, here is where they do it well. And against Man United, even though they lost 5-0, there was elements where they had really good threats. You've got Rach Daly in the team, you've got good players around you. They force it infield, they nick it, right, forward attack now. Got good players, Darley on the ball, into Rach Daly, out to Lehman. Support up to the ball. I love this from Darley. She holds it up because she knows she needs to wait, bide time, comes in, overlapping run, great little pass, cross, bodies into the box, near post run, come to the back post, Gregory. It's a good save. So when they get their structure right, it ends in that. When it doesn't, they get punished. And I think when you lose 5-0 and you're going against Arsenal today and you've got injuries, so many injuries out, just get the fundamentals right. Just be hard to beat, like Carla said, be compact, you know, get it right, work hard and just work from that. But that's, I think, take that away now and just get the learnings from it.
But on that point, Fern, how difficult is it? I mean, 11 out to get that structure in when often you're not working with these players in training too, those that are coming in. We look at the key players they've got out. I mean, Gregory, just such a great... She was the bright spark for them against
She
United.
was last week, yeah, she was. She really was a bright spark and she created so many chances. She could have scored probably 2 goals in the game last week, so she'll be a big loss for them. And as you say, 11 players injured is just an unheard of number, especially at this time in the season. And some of the injuries they've got were prior to the season even starting. Like Simone McGill, one of their new signings, obviously got injured in the Euros and a long-term injury, so she's out for the season. You've got quite a lot of real long-term injuries in there. So, as Carla's saying, she's having to reshuffle. As Kaz was saying, she needs to go back to basics, just keep it tight and try and get, you know, the organisation really as solid as you possibly can, so that everyone on that pitch, every starting 11 player knows their jobs, and there's no questions around it then, as you've shown off the throw-in. It's kind of like, well, who's doing what? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Everybody needs to know their jobs, whether you're playing out a position or not.
Can it actually help you in a way? By that, I mean, gosh, no one wants injuries, but those first 7 matches, they had the same 10 outfield players, and you build that rhythm, that consistency, that it's us against the world.
I liked playing in a team where I knew my relationships in terms of I played with them week in, week out, and it was chopping and changing. As a player, I didn't enjoy that, because if me and you played every week, I knew your strengths, I knew your weaknesses, I knew what we were playing to, and that consistency helped. So it's not ideal, but you know what, it's a game where I know they come off the back of getting a result midweek, but they're just, like I said, if they'd just be hard to beat today, my inner Roy Keane, I've been spending too much time with him, be hard to beat, they have attacking players and they've done really well this season, so just the fundamentals, get them right today.
They create some
you,
really
you
good...
would have saved that goal from Roy Keane. More about that later, perhaps. Arsenal have had to deal with their own injury struggles, though. They've got key players back. Can they make it 8 away wins in a row? It's quicker to list who's available for Aston Villa in our first match of the day. Carla Ward has 11 players out, and Arsenal only Anna Patton unavailable. Only 3 outfield players on the bench for this one. As for Arsenal, they have a big Champions League match against Lyon this week. They make 2 changes from their Champions League win over Juventus. McCabe's captain, and Rafaela comes in for Williamson, who's on the bench. Let's hear from manager Jonas Eideveld, who's with Lindsay.
Jonas, you've made 2 changes for this match at Villa Park today, and it's been a busy week. Why have you made those changes?
It's about to select the team that we think is best for the task today, of course, but it's also, I mean, as always, we need to manage the squad. We need to be able to keep fresh legs here for both the game today, but also for the future games. So a little bit of both today.
And Leah Williamson on the bench, Rafaela Souza coming in for her. Is that about game management?
Yeah, that is about game management, and it's about taking smart decisions here when we're getting players back from injury, so we load them properly and that they can return to play fully 90 minutes for us.
How much attention did you pay to Aston Villa losing 5-0 to Manchester United last weekend?
Not a lot. I mean, of course, with the tactical components in that game, because it's an opponent we play, we look at that closely, but we know it's a league where sometimes the results they can go a little bit bigger than maybe the actual performance was. I look at it more from a whole with Aston Villa and seeing that played a really strong season so far. So we have big respect for them as an opponent, and we know it's going to require a lot from us today.
This Arsenal team have coped admirably with absentees. Do you think the fact that you've managed to navigate this period where you've had key players missing, we now see Miedemar back on fire as well, playing alongside Marnham because there's no Beth Mead, is it the depth of squad that is getting you through?
Yeah, but I don't like to have the mindset to say that we are through something here now, because I don't think we are. I think every game poses its own challenges and also its own opportunities. And it's never going to be easy. So what we have been doing well historically is that we have prepared really well for each game, but we need to continue to do that, and we don't get anything for free.
How occupied have you been with trying to stop Rachel Daly for this match?
I think Villa as a team is a team that is more than one player. Of course, she has been very good so far this season, but you can also see a player like Kenza Dali that is setting up a lot of those situations. So it's not only as easy as one player, it's a team thing.
It's stopping the supply.
Always.
Good luck for the game. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Fern, I know he said it's not about just getting through, but they have got through this period. To see Rafaela back in, she's swapping from the bench for Williamson. He says he's managing their load. How key to have these two big defensive players back for them?
Yeah, it's a massive boost. I mean, when you've got your two natural centre-halves back in, obviously it will kind of push the team on forward, knowing that they can kind of go attack a little bit more, knowing that they've got their two natural centre-backs behind them. But, you know, not taking anything away from them. They've only conceded 4 goals in the league up until now. So that just shows how well they've done without the two natural centre-backs. So they've actually come through a tough period, but they've been defensively solid pretty much up until this point. So, you know, it's great that they're back, but the actual strength and depth that they've got in the squad shows them in a very good position.
Karen, if we look at their defensive rankings, he says that they focused on how their defensive forward work with their centre midfield, and it is paying off for them when they had to reshape.
Yeah, we did a clip on the screen a couple of weeks back where we did Frida Marnham doing like a triple press. And I think you're right, maybe Fern will be able to tell me better than me, but the best defenders don't actually have to defend because they organise exactly what's in front of them. And I think for me, I've always been worried about Arsenal's midfield for quite a few years in terms of sometimes it's too easy to get through. And you're right, I think they've become hard to beat. I think Marnham coming in there has been really, really key for Arsenal. But they've improved, and I think it has been tough. They have had injuries, and they've dealt with it very, very well. But still another big week. Still got Lyon, still got Zurich to go, and then you go into the new calendar year.
When you look at how Miedemar's she had that break, that rest, talks about being tactically refreshed too. How much do they need peak Viv now, this Arsenal side?
I think they need, obviously they've lost Beth Mead, as you say, going into this part of Christmas, but she's definitely come back in fighting form. She's on 3 goals in 3 games, so, you know, she's come back, she's looking sharp, she looks rejuvenated, she looks fresh. So coming into today, they'll definitely need her to up that goal tally as well and get those 3 points on the board.
I think I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I think Arsenal are very straight line in terms of how they attack. So a Chelsea or a Man United are probably more dynamic in how they move. And that's why, without Kim Little, I don't think they have that kind of agile, fluid movement. But with Viv Miedema in the team, she's that spark that gives you that. Other than that, I think they're very straight line. So she has got a big influence on the team in terms of being that dynamic edge, that difference. Because I wouldn't mind playing against them, but not Viv. She's just raw.
All right, let's have a little look at the weekend results so far, because we've got 2 matches rounding off this WSL weekend. It's the last weekend of the year. A couple of matches postponed. There was that draw in the Manchester derby, and West Ham 2 up on Spurs. Aston Villa Arsenal, our game, and then Chelsea Reading will round off the weekend. So that's our focus to come. Twice as many shots, twice as many on target for Villa. Now they've a gunner's side in their sights, and they're looking to mark their 200th WSL match in style. Our Arsenal. First half on the way.
It's been a remarkable run at home for Chelsea.
That's England, as clinical as ever.
What about that? Sanka on the money.
What have you done, Sanka? You have just won the title for Chelsea.
Come in! Chelsea showing why they're champions.
What a clinical finish.
Chelsea now 1 game away from an unbeaten 2022 at home.
Yeah, and that unbeaten home record in 2022 will be tested one final time with Reading in town. Kick-off at 6:45. That's our second match of the day. All eyes on Villa Arsenal. This was collectively 11-0 to Arsenal last season over those 2 matches. Is this a very different Villa side, though?
Yeah, I think it is a different Villa side. I think last weekend, hopefully Villa will see that as a little bit of a blip. They've had time to train, they've had time to reorganise. But what I would say is if they don't deal with the movement today of Miedema, of Blackstenius, of Caitlin Ford, I think they could be in trouble if they don't get the organisation right at the back and they don't get that communication right. They need to get that right today.
All right, we'll hear plenty more from Fern and from Karen on the way. This is our first game of the day, and it's a 200th WSL match for Arsenal, which is just an average week on the road for former England defender Laura Bassett and Gary Taphouse.
Thank you, Caroline. It's definitely a day for hats, gloves, scarves, winter coats, heated gilets, the works. But it's also an occasion to savour as Villa Park welcomes the WSL once again. Arsenal 4-0 winners here last season. But we've already seen that Villa possess a lot more of the goal threat this time around. Whether they have enough to topple the Gunners remains to be seen. Arsenal are looking for a club record 8th WSL away win here today. Nothing less than a win here will do as they look to keep pace with Chelsea and Manchester United. Let's start with the teams for you. Carla Ward has seen her Villa side win 4 and lose 4 in the WSL this season. Hannah Hampton returned to start last weekend's defeat at Old Trafford, her first league start in 6. Anna Patton's ineligible against her parent club, so captain Rachel Coursey slots into central defence. Villa's first change at the back this season in the league. Coursey's place in midfield is taken by 18-year-old Olivia McLaughlin, her first start of the season, alongside fellow teenager Laura Blinkiller-Brown. Kirsty Hansen couldn't play against her parent club, Manchester United, last weekend. She's back today with Freya Gregory out. Gregory has an ankle injury. Top scorer Rachel Daly has netted Villa's last 5 league goals, including a hat-trick against Reading. She's got 10 in all competitions this season. The extent of Villa's injury problems is there for all to see. Carla Ward once again only able to name 3 outfield players on the bench. The owner side of Owls had a good week thanks to 1-0 wins over Everton and Juventus. Austrian keeper Manuela Zinsberger now has 8 clean sheets in 13 appearances this season. Noelle Moritz and Rafaela Souza come into the back 4. Laura Wienreuter and Leah Williamson, who's only just come back from injury, drop out. Top scorer Viviana Miedemar is back in top form after her leave of absence last month. She's netted in all 3 matches she started since her return. The versatile Katie McCabe has switched from left back to the right of the front 3 in Beth Mead's absence. The front 3 is the same for the 4th game running. So a familiar 4-3-3 for the Gunners, with plenty of options for Jonas Eidevall on the Arsenal bench. So Laura Bassett joins us for this one. Welcome along, Laura. Who are you keeping your eye on today?
For Aston Villa, I think I'm keeping my eye on Danielle Turner, the centre-back. She's a new signing this season, but she's already played every minute so far of Villa's games, and she's imperative. Previously we know her as a left back, but this left side centre back has really brought out the best in her game. She's a real leader, but today having a new centre back partnership with Rachel Coursey, she's going to need to really lead the line, dictate the height of the back line, and really have succinct communication. So it'll be interesting to see how she gets on and leads this team. And for Arsenal, it's Katie McCabe, huge fan of her. She's the captain today, and under Arsenal's injury problem, she's been playing left back, but now she's so versatile, so adaptable, and I think technically she's so good, a set piece expert, and she's just, you know, so comfortable, so composed, and she's the go-to person when they need to beat a low block. She's the go-to person that can make things happen and switch the ball.
Paul Howard from London is the referee, his first WSL game of this season. And a reminder that both sides will sign off for WSL action in 2022 after this match. Both players take a knee. Both sets of players take a knee ahead of kickoff. We're good to go. So Arsenal hoping for a 100th clean sheet and a 140th win on their 200th WSL match. What a stunning record. But they're well aware that it was defeat here in the West Midlands against the bottom club, Birmingham City, that ultimately proved so costly last season. And of course they finished a point behind champions Chelsea. In fact, I mentioned that Birmingham game in the press room and there was like an audible gasp. It was like mentioning Macbeth in the theatre, wasn't it? The Arsenal media contingent horrified that that had come up. And certainly the way they've been playing recently, they won't be expecting a slip up here. I think we can safely say that Villa's approach will be a cautious one. But they had their moments at Old Trafford last week. Yes, they were well beaten in the end, but they had their chances.
I think listening to Carla Ward, it's about discipline. When they haven't got the ball, it's about discipline, getting good shape. It's interesting, actually, that Kenza Darley is sitting deeper with McLaughlin, and Laura Blinkhilde-Brown is actually higher, the closest one to Rach Daly. You know, when normally we see Kenza Darley in that position, picking up the second balls off Rach Daly. So, you know, whether that is a tactic for Kenza Darley to be central, to get on the ball, because we know she can dictate the play, control the tempo of the game.
Yeah, 12 points Aston Villa have. It's the most that they've had at this stage of a WSL season. Of course, so much of that is down to the fact that they've got so much more of a goal threat this time around. And that's a decent looking ball as well. Running onto that was Lehmann. Well watched though by Zinsberger, who came charging out to good effect. Here is Rachel Corsi. Collected here by Dali, the French international. If anyone can pick a pass in this Villa side, she can. She's got it back again here. This is Mailing. Lehmann now. And Mailing has just nipped in round the back of McCabe there. Lehmann again. And a certainly positive start in the first 3 minutes here from the home side.
Really encouraging. I think they look composed on the ball. I think Rachel Corsi going into centre-back, you know, she likes to have the ball, she likes to be able to switch, and then Kenza Darley playing deeper will be able to get on the ball, control the play, control the rhythm, how fast they go forward. But certainly it's a great spell, good start for them. I'm sure Carla Ward will be really happy with them enjoying the ball so much.
Has she switched Darley there because it is two teenagers who would be screening the back four?
Potentially, but also I think McLaughlin, I think she breaks up play really well, so that's her skill set alongside someone like Darley. But then Blinkhilde-Brown, she's got bundles of energy. She has the legs, she has the energy and the commitment to threaten behind. So she's got the energy and the physicality to join Rach Daly, who will break at pace. So you need players to support her.
Great run here from Hansen. We were expecting a conservative approach in Villa. That's certainly not the case in the early stages. We'll be very wary of that type of break from Arsenal. A couple of big challenges going in. And Miedema leading the Arsenal charge. And she never, ever requires a gold embossed invitation to have a strike, does she?
Well, no matter how well you start the game, that's the instant reminder that if you turn over the ball in midfield, it's a wonderful tackle by Volti, sets Miedema through. Look, she's great run by Blackstenius to clear the space, opens up and takes a shot on a non-preferred left foot, and it's a good solid save from Hannah Hampton. She'll be pleased with that. But again, Miedema driving at the heart of your defence.
Good stop, but it does mean a corner for Arsenal, and they've been pretty good in that respect. The most from set pieces in the WSL this season. Here it goes from Catley, and the goalkeeper came a long way there to try to deal with that, which was risky.
You can see why they're dominant from set pieces. Good out-swinging corner from Catley. And again, Sousa doesn't really, Rafaela Sousa doesn't really believe in it, does she? Again, it's just kind of a clip off the top of her head.
Last goal was in September. She scored in the North London derby. 4-0 win for Arsenal that day. They would certainly like that sort of scoreline again today. They simply can't afford slip-ups. Wide it goes by Darley. That's a good-looking ball as well for Hansen! What a brilliant goal! Arsenal are stunned. That's an absolute beauty from Kirsty Hansen. Her first in the WSL this season. She took it early. Zinsberger beaten. And what a fabulous start for Aston Villa.
She got her first goal for the club on Wednesday night against Sheffield United, and then got her first of the league. What a finish that is. Really good build-up play. Rach Daly leaving this ball for Kenza Darley. She knows she's there. Quick ball out, switch of play. Again, the touch isn't great, but it's out of her feet. It allows her to hit it first time. Sets her up nicely. Again, good intricate playing. But again, can Zinsberger do better on this? She's never really set. Again, it just bounces awkwardly, doesn't it, in front of her? But that's a wonderful start for Aston Villa. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, she enjoyed that one, didn't she? Couldn't have been placed any better. Hansen was in the Manchester United side that beat Arsenal 1-0 a couple of years ago. Villa lead 1-0 here. That really is a turn-up for the books.
That's a huge confidence boost, especially like we said, we've got Aston Villa have got two young players in the centre of midfield. It's a huge boost for them.
Arsenal looking for a response straight away. Wasn't the best of clearances there. Out wide it goes by Caitlin Ford. Oh, and the keeper's missed that. Comes all the way through to McCabe, who couldn't control it. A little bit of a let-off for Hannah Hampton there.
Well, just as Miedemar reminded them a few moments ago, there's that reminder, dangerous cross. Again, you've got to be marking, make sure that Hannah Hampton needs to come and claim. She needs to command, dictate that 6-yard box, take the onus off the defenders, take the pressure. Again, really open game so far, really exciting.
Well, Villa have scored the first goal in the WSL 3 times this season. They've gone on to win all 3. And don't forget, they have beaten elite opposition already this season. And they surprised us all, didn't they, by seeing off Manchester City right at the start of the campaign. And they're doing this despite all of their injury problems at the moment. Ford tried to get it into Miedemar, and she has now got it. Villa scramble it away. Didn't quite reach Rachel Daly. Back it goes by Wubben-Moy. Arsenal looking to regroup here. Not the start they had in mind. Of course, they've created so many chances in the last couple of games. Almost 50 attempts at goal in the last 2 matches against Everton and Juve. Only scored 1 goal in each. Could do with being a bit more clinical here today. Ball through by McCabe, was right on the money, laid off by Miedemar. Huge chance! And it's blazed over. And Ford is certainly claiming that that took a deflection. The officials say no.
It's good build-up play, isn't it? McCabe with a head, time in space, and then this individual great skill from Miedemar just to set that in. And it's really interesting, Ford actually playing on the right and McCabe playing on the left. Normally we see them switched over. Again, but that's a good chance, and that's what I mean by her on her favoured foot. You feel like her to create that chance and to finish that.
Coming forward again here, Arsenal. Out wide it goes by Blackstenius. Swatted away. And there's Pacheco, who's that back four are going to be busy, I fancy, as Arsenal look to get themselves back into this. What they can't afford to do, Villa, is give the ball away cheaply. Ford looking to get the ball in, that's no problem for Hampton. Well, we talked about the increased goal threat that Villa have got this season, and that just underlines it. They've now got as many goals this season as they did in the whole of last season.
Well, I think if you ask any opposing team, you know, their front four is really dangerous, really threatening. They have variety, they have pace, physicality, goals. So I'm sure opponents and teams fully respect that, but it's a wonderful stat, and I think that's why we're seeing, you know, so far, before this game, Villa having won 4 games, lost 4 games, but because they can take the game to the opponent now, and they can really threaten in that final third.
I should say as well, that is the first league goal away from home that Arsenal have conceded this season. You've got to do it the hard way. This is Mailing for Aston Villa. Gets it back from Alicia Lehmann. Daly. Lehmann the target. Again, if anyone can pick that pass out, she can. Very nearly did. Helped herself to an assist for that goal, of course.
Well, it's a good reminder for those Arsenal defenders that Villa can hurt you in behind. They have the quality when Darley's on the ball, and also they have the pace with Daly, Lehmann, Blinkhilde-Brown running from deep to hurt you. So you have to defend those balls behind your back line properly, and Zinsberg has to have a good start position.
And actually sometimes players like Darley like having more of the pitch in front of them so they can pick those passes and see exactly where everyone is. She's certainly proving that to be the case so far.
Well, I think also when Darley gets time and space on the ball and she's under comfortable possession, it lets the rest of your team know she's got the ball under control. Then we can make the runs, we can make the darting runs forward, because she has the quality to make a good sustained attack from it.
Again, Sarah Mailing high up the pitch here, chasing that one down from Corsi. Valti. This is Catley, back to Valti once again. Swiss midfielder. Rafaela for Arsenal. Catley pursued by Lehmann. That's a lovely give and go with McCabe, and she's in behind here. Steph Catley. She might get another chance. I think she had to leave it because she would have been in an offside position.
It's good intricate playing, isn't it, though, Catley? That's where she wants to play into McCabe, get it back, and she has the quality, and good defending from Villa from the cross, because Arsenal certainly had numbers in the box ready to pounce.
Free kick's been given against Rachel Daly there. She didn't feel there was a lot in that.
I'm not too sure there was much in that either. I think both players fairly went for the ball. If anything, I think Catley was late on Daly. I think she won the ball fairly.
Well, once again, Arsenal with an attacking set play. Catley and Frida Marnham over the ball. Another one who's been in superb form. Two players deliberately standing offside at the moment. Two players ended up going down there. We play on though, as it goes wide by Valti, and then the free kick's been given. Tackle after she played the ball.
Would have been interesting to see the referee let that play on. Miedemar was 1v1. It's a late challenge, isn't it, by Hansen? But again, let the play go.
Well, this is a long way out, but Villa aren't taking any chances. 4 players in the wall here. 3 Arsenal players around the ball. Marnham, Catley, McCabe. Looks like Katie McCabe, who we know is more than capable, to take. And not far away. Great strike.
Again, wonderful effort, wasn't it? Again, I mentioned at the start of the game, she's a set-piece specialist. Seen her score some wonderful goals over the years. But again, it's a huge reminder, isn't it, to Aston Villa to keep giving Arsenal invitations from corners, from free kicks. And they're going to keep getting closer. If you give Katie McCabe more chances like that, she's going to hurt you with one of them.
She scored in this fixture in each of the last 2 seasons. The one here last campaign was a beauty. Lehman. Just managed to stay on side there. Blinkiller Brown. Oh, that's rattled the frame of the goal. Hansen. Dali. Trying to put that into a good area, headed away by Rafaela. Dali with an ambitious attempt. Well, Zinsberger mightily relieved because that cracked against the crossbar.
Again, her energy and her runs in behind is causing all sorts of problems. I think Lehman could have turned earlier. But again, I think this was a cross into the box aiming for Hansen. But again, like you say, Zinsberger really had to make sure she dealt with that. I'm not too sure that was a shot. But again, it proved difficult for Zinsberger, having to make sure the danger was cleared. And they definitely did hit that crossbar.
Laura Blinkiller-Brown, her only WSL start against the Gunners before today was in the 7-0 defeat back in May. 2 big wins for Arsenal last season. This has got a very different feel to it so far. Villa yet to beat Arsenal in the WSL or even score against them until today. Keeping a close eye on what's going on the monitor there in the dugout.
I think that's a key point when you play these big clubs and historically successful clubs in the WSL. You need to be able to cause them problems and score. They've already managed to score against Chelsea this season, got a goal against Arsenal today. So it's that attacking threat that you must pose on game days, and all credit to them because the previous 2 records against Arsenal at home, you know, they've lost 4-0 on each occasion, with all goals coming in the second half. So they've already flipped that script.
Here come the Gunners. Catley knocks it inside and gets it back again as well. Villa got back in position very quickly there, and Arsenal, you feel, just have to move the ball a little bit quicker.
I think coming into today's game, they would have known it would have been about patience. And, you know, sometimes you have to tire the opposition down. But like you say, there's a difference between being patient and moving the ball slow and actually not moving the opposition at all. I think they can move the ball quicker, switch the play a lot more, and really try and get down the... We've seen this great combination down the left-hand side with McCabe and Catley. Can they do it even more? Can they probe? Get more crosses into the box.
Keeping conversation there, Rachel Corsi and the referee, Paul Howard. But it's a throw to the visitors. They've been very disciplined so far at the back, Villa. Lots of concentration. Draining to keep it up for 90 minutes, of course, but a faultless display so far. I don't think we'd have expected them to have the majority of the possession at this stage.
I mean, it's all credit to them. They've looked composed on the ball. They look like they know where they can hurt Arsenal. They look together, a close unit. The gaps, I think, when they played Manchester United, some of the gaps, you know, Manchester United really exploited, but I think they've shortened today. They look more together, compact as a team. The distances are better. Like you say now, Gary, it's just a matter of keeping it up, isn't it?
Valti. Marnham. Diagonal. Ruben Moy looking for McCabe. Valti. Catley. And a swing and a miss. Goal kick.
They're the ideas, though, aren't they? Good play, good patient play from Valti. In, out. I think Catley just got all that timing all wrong. But again, if she would have executed it, it would have been a good chance to get the ball into Villa's box again.
Just a reminder that straight after this, we will be off to Kingsmeadow to see the champions in action against Reading. Kick-off 6:45, Sky Sports Football. Reading, of course, got a good win over Spurs last weekend against all the odds, despite having a virus in the camp, numerous injuries. That is a big test for them. Oh, that's a brilliant ball looking for McCabe, and great credit to Hannah Hampton, who came right to the edge of her penalty area to make the smothering stop.
Yeah, it needed a really hot start position, didn't it? But this is a wonderful ball. Good feet by Valti. Plays it through in behind the full-back and the centre-back. And again, like I say, Hannah Hampton have that high start position so she can come, read the play, be that deeper sweeper and clear the danger.
Interesting what you said about McCabe starting on the left-hand side. It's her challenge there. Because during the week, Jonas Eidevall was talking about the benefits of having an inverted winger. Her on the right-hand side, despite being left-footed. Both coaches have sprung a little bit of a surprise on us here today.
Yeah, I think also as well in game we see a lot of changes, don't we? It's not uncommon that we see wide players switch over just to give the fullback something different to think of. Pose a different problem. You know, if your fullback's got the better of you, swap over and you might then see your game develop and you might get more and more of the ball.
Ball forward by Turner. Well, she hasn't seen much of the ball, Rachel Daly, so far, and I think she probably would have been expecting that. One thing we do know is if you give her an opportunity, she's been clinical this season. She might have to be patient.
Well, I think also if you're Aston Villa teammates, knowing that you've got Rach Daly in your team, knowing that, like you say, she only needs 1 or 2 chances and she can bury a goal, she can find a goal, you know, that gives you huge credit. And it gives you the ability and the mindset to be able to be disciplined, do all the hard work when you know you've got a star player like that in your team. Similarly for Arsenal, you know you've got Miedemar, who's got 3 goals in 3 games.
Marnham getting it out to that right-hand side. There's a throw to the Gunners.
Having just picked up on the wide players, we've just seen Catley and Ford and McCabe swap over.
Could that break kindly? Ford hoping it would. Could they get in behind here? Hampton got a touch. Oh, I think that's an own goal. I think that crossed the line. What a horrible moment for Villa. Corsi looks perplexed, but from our position that looked like it was clearly over the line. And the Gunners have an early Christmas gift here, 1-1.
Oh, it's heartbreaking, isn't it, if you're Aston Villa? But for Arsenal, good probing. Again, Ford capitalised, counter-presses, a good ball through. And again, McCabe just wants to put it into an area hits Corsi. She doesn't know nothing about it. She's facing her own goal, so she doesn't know what's around her, can't do nothing about her. And again, Dan Turner tries to prevent it crossing the line, but it clearly does. And again, it's a gift, like you say.
Well, despair for Aston Villa, who've been so good in this first half. But no clean sheet for them today. And it had been a very good response to going behind early from Arsenal. All square. Raffaelli out to Catley. Forward dispossessed. Dali. Back to ground, referee says play on. Wide by the luckless Corsi. Free kick's been given there to Arsenal. Referee in a good position to see that challenge on Steph Catley.
I think Dali was just trying to lunge in, wasn't she? Again, doesn't clip her, doesn't make contact, I don't think. They must concentrate from this, Aston Villa, because the last thing you want to do is invite Arsenal again to get 2 goals in quick succession.
Again, Catley and Marnham over the ball here. This time it's the right foot of Marnham, and that's gone all the way through. Oh, that's a good block in there. 2 players waiting for the cross. Arsenal looking to intensify this pressure. Ford. Marnham off the defender, Corsi, for a corner.
I think Arsenal have settled a little bit now. I think you can see they're a little bit slick, playing it a little bit quicker into their groove.
Everyone back here for Villa. That is a very, very crowded 6-yard area. And they get the first contact. It's behind for another corner. Goodness me, great delivery.
Really good delivery from Marnham, really deep. Just looking for Blackstelius. Ruben Moyes there too, but again, really difficult to deal with, coming down at the right time with the right pace.
Another corner for Arsenal. Oh, right into the mix. Hampton got a touch, but it's in! Well, she rolled that in quite beautifully, and her terrific form continues, having returned from that leave of absence. Viviana Miedema scores for the 4th game in a row, and once it fell to her feet, you knew there'd be only one outcome.
I think in the previous corners and the wide free kicks, she picked up dangerous spaces. It's like she knows where the ball's going to land. Another good in-swinging. The in-swinging corners have been causing Aston Villa more problems than the out-swinging. But look, second phase, hit the volley first time. Not the cleanest of strike, but got enough power to go through all them bodies. Again, keeps it low, enough power. And again, Hannah Hampton sees it late. She's got no chance.
7th goal of the season in all competitions. Her 4th WSL goal against Aston Villa. And the Gunners have turned this around very impressively.
They'll be super happy, because I think players, Jona Seideval, won't be happy with how they started in that opening 20 minutes, I'm sure. But, you know, to find a way back into this game, I think it has helped with McCabe and Ford swapping over. They feel a bit natural, into their groove, into their rhythm.
She talked about that leave of absence, didn't she, this week? Miedemar said that she'd been suffering with burnout, really. Too many games, too many international breaks, plus a really nasty bout of COVID. And she was in bed for 10 days, really poorly. Took her a very long time to get over that. And she's not the only footballer who's said that in the last couple of years. So that really refreshed her, that break. And she's come back fit and firing.
Well, it's imperative that players are open and honest with their communication about how they're feeling, and two, that clubs, managers, staff, everyone listens, and you know, you do whatever you can. You treat the human first and then the athlete. So look, it's wonderful to see her back now, playing with a revived energy and effervescence and scoring.
Well, now, will there be a response from Aston Villa? They've got the free kick. They'll be bitterly disappointed at the manner in which they've seen their lead not only evaporate, but now they're behind. An own goal and a corner kick. Dali's ball in, that's no problem for Zinsberger.
Well, especially because when you play the top teams, you know, if they are going to score past you, you want them to score a well-executed goal or a screamer or something that's, you know, that their world-class attacking talent has managed to do in the game, but not an easy gift.
Good persistence and tenacity from Ford. Well away though by Corsi. Got Villa right where they want them now, Arsenal. 12 minutes to half-time. That is a foul by Laura Blinkiller-Brown. Wide by Rafaela to Ford. Ford has just poked that through to Blackstenius' offside. Wonderful assist from Blackstenius in the week, wasn't it, in the Champions League for Miedemar's goal. Top quality, out in the wide area, put a cracking ball in. Dali. Corsi. Mailing. Pressing from Miedemar. Arsenal tails up here, aren't they? They've got the bit between their teeth, having turned it around.
I think you can see they're pressing a little bit quicker with more intent, more aggression, forcing Villa into areas that they want to, that they know they can win back the ball. Again, like you said, just playing at a quicker tempo, both with and without the ball.
Scored in each of their last 17 league games now. That's a giveaway for Daly. Poke through to Blinkiller-Brown, back to Daly again. Mailing on the outside. Daly, Corsi, Dali. Well, that'll be a throw to Villa. They'll take that because the momentum of that attack rather dissipated. Daly. She's won it back from Marnham. Great run from Daly. And the attempted overhead, that would have been special.
Yeah, good improvisation from Rach Daly, wasn't it? But again, Kenza Daly, when she's on the ball, she can create something out of nothing. Good counter press. Again, winning back the ball, driving into the 18-yard box, get you and the ball inside there. And then Rachel Daly just improvising, didn't come off that time.
Oh, here come Arsenal. Marnham leading the charge and chopped down there. A challenge that I think she feels she had to make, and she's just pointing out her first challenge. Ticking off, it's a booking. She's frustrated.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if it matters if it's your first one or not. Frida Marnham does so well in the centre midfield, wins back the ball, and she drives. She likes to take the space at pace, and again just draws Dan Turner in. She needs to be careful now. Make sure she uses all her leadership and experience to grow back into this game calmly.
Marnham's been absolutely superb, hasn't she, the last couple of months? Needed that real goal threat as well, on top of everything else, all the other attributes. Catley's ball in. Oh, and the header was from Blackstenius, and Hampton so relieved that that was straight at her. Marking was awry here, though.
This ball from Catley had wonderful pace. Blackstenius just offside. Again, but it lands on her head. It's a great delivery. Finds herself unmarked, unopposed. Again, that should be a goal. And Hannah Hampton will be relieved that it goes straight into her hands.
Again, Blackstenius, one of those two players that deliberately stands offside before the ball is played, hoping to duck back in, also hoping to draw Villa to drop off. They've resisted so far. Ford in behind and onside. And that's a very clever ball out to that far side again. Lovely bit of turn from McCabe, and deflected through to Hampton, but the chance is really starting to come now for Arsenal. They are well on top.
You can tell they're free flowing. You can't really tell from that angle if she's onside, but again, I think Ford being on the left-hand side, she knows where she wants the ball, she knows where she can cut the ball, change the angle. And again, good, wonderful feet from McCabe. Again, but great team defending, I think, from Turner, Corsi, to block that shot.
Free kick to Arsenal. And there's Pacheco helping her opponent, McCabe, up. Maybe one or two choice words exchanged in the process.
Well, that's what Kate McCabe likes to do. She likes to draw you in. She likes to know where the pressure is, know where the player is. She keeps the ball protected, and she can draw the foul really easily.
I do feel from a Villa perspective it's vital they don't concede again before the break. They're still very much in this, but they're having to dig in, aren't they? It's Rafaela Souza. Forward it goes by Valti. Mailing looking for a free kick, not going to get one. Wubben-Moy. Looking for that diagonal again. Put it away by Corsi. At the other end, Daly. the best she could do, really, in the circumstances. Another isolated there, and that's a giveaway by Mailing. Here's Miedemar. Oh, what a clever ball. Blackstenius chasing that down. And what a recovery from Turner, who knew she was on a yellow card and had to get that absolutely right.
Superb defending when you're one-on-one, when you know you're just coming from behind. But again, what good build-up play this is. Miedemar sees her early, good curve run from Blackstenius. And again, but Dan Turner, this is wonderful defending. Just gets a toe in, that's all you need. You don't need to do no big swinging last-ditch tackle. Just get your toe in. Nice and calmly done. But again, that Miedemar dropping into the hole, looking up, feeding the space, good curve run. There's connection we've seen before. And again, a connection that we'll see, no doubt, again in this game.
And it's that lovely weight of pass, isn't it, that we've seen from her since she's dropped into this position. Seems to be relishing it.
Well, I think when she's on the ball and she thinks about playing the ball, she thinks about what type of ball and the weight of pass that she would like to receive and what this situation needs. She's just, yeah, super intelligent player and one that you can just trust with the ball, and you know that something good will come of it.
Well, we talked about the absentees for Aston Villa, and that is some list, isn't it? That's not even all of them, by the way, but 3 of them ACLs. Doesn't help that Anna Patton's ineligible. Marusha Littlejohn was going to start last week at Old Trafford, picked up a calf injury in training. Freya Gregory then got injured in midweek. Very, very tough.
Yeah, really tough. But also it affects you in training as well, how your preparation, you know, you can't do 11v11 or even 10v10, and you're having to draft in staff or academy players or whoever, or mannequins. You know, it affects your whole preparation for games. But, you know, unfortunately you can't make excuses. You just have to knuckle down and get on with it. And that's what it seems like these groups speak a lot about togetherness, working hard for each other, and you can certainly tell that they have that.
Yeah, in fairness to Carla Ward, she is certainly not the type to bemoan injuries and use as an excuse. But she's in a very tough situation playing against elite opposition like this. But once again, they're still in this game. A lot of space on this left side for Ford. Here she is, helped on for Catley. It's all about the delivery here, and it's gone all the way through and drilled goalwards. Moritz is bolstering the attack there.
Really good late run, wasn't it, from Catley? Again, just waiting that half space. Lehman can't recover and can't get close to her. And again, then it's just about that second ball pick up, trying to get it on target.
Never actually scored in the WSL. Moritz, the Swiss fullback, 36th appearance. Got a 100th cap against Denmark for Switzerland last month. Miedemar. Into 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. It's absolutely flown by. Very entertaining. Catley. Oh, it's gone all the way through again. And the strike was from McCabe. Not dealing with those crosses at the moment, Villa. They're neither stopping them coming in nor dealing them when they do come in. Arsenal relishing this. Balti. Raffaele. Miedemar. Oh, what an intelligent ball that was, and enough for the players back to deal with it. Darley for Villa. Daly. Excellent centre-forward play. Glenn-Killer-Brown. Darley trying to make something happen again. And, down that left side was Maz Pacheco. Arnhem. Those Villa attacks have become increasingly sporadic as the half has gone on.
I think you can still see the threats there, though, if they get a couple of passes and feed the right pass to Daly.
Here's Miedemar. Superb run, could have had a go, instead just lays it out to that right side, and that is the final action of what's been an excellent first half at Villa Park. And what a start for the home side. Beautifully taken goal by Kirsty Hansen to give Villa the lead in just the 6th minute. It took Arsenal a bit of time to compose themselves. Rachel Corsie with a very unfortunate own goal midway through the half. And just 5 minutes later, a really well taken goal yet again from Vivianne Miedemar. So at half-time, Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 2.
Arsenal then coming from behind to lead 2-1 at Aston Villa at the break. Karen Carney, Fern Whelan here. And Karen, let's quickly get into it, because from Aston Villa, their first WSL goal against Arsenal, all was looking rosy.
Really good. Rach Daly over, and then Darley switches it out, gets a 1v1 out to Hansen. Really good touch. Hits it very well and on the bounce. Really good finish. But from this angle, I have to be critical of Zinsberger. I think she has all the time. You see the build-up over there, get across, see where the goal is, adjust the feet. Should she be getting beaten from that range, that distance? I know it's in the corner, but I'm looking at Zinsberg. I'm disappointed with her in that aspect. But credit to Hansen, hit it well and on target, and that's what you get.
Yeah, a little grimace from you defensively as well. If we look at the equaliser for Arsenal, all heads up, Rachel Corsie own goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it starts off from the throw-in again, like it did last week against Man United for Aston Villa, so they will be disappointed for that. Miedemar's obviously slipped it in here. And as you can see, that they should still be in good numbers, but she gets off the back shoulder of Kirsty Hansen, and Hannah Hampton will be probably disappointed with that palming out there. It's probably not a strong enough hand to get it away from goal. We see it run again here as it comes across, just gets off the back shoulder of the player. Cross comes in, and can you palm that away as far away from your goal as possible? And unfortunate for Rachel Corsie there, it's gone in the back of the net. There was some deliberating whether it went over the line, but you can see from this angle that it clearly crosses the line as Dan Turner's tried to clear the ball away.
From a throw, Karen Carney.
No, didn't see the start of the show, did they?
Yeah, they'll be watching it back. Not used for that. 2-1 then, Arsenal. We said we needed peak Viv Miedemar for this Arsenal team, and she's done it.
Yeah, what I liked about this was just their intelligence. Obviously, they've swarmed the goalkeeper, Hampton, to get something on it. Not enough, but to be fair, there's a lot of people around her. But this, you see Viv Miedemar, she just goes soft. Just where the arrow is, just peels off and goes, actually, second phase is more important. And just lands to her, and just Aston Villa not reactive, but that's the intelligence just to peel off there.
Yeah, not reactive, and also, as you say, Rachel Daly, I think, will be disappointed there, Karen, in the way she's just let her kind of slip off. You've got to keep tight in the box and stay close to Miedemar as possible. Can't afford to give her that space, because you can see what she can do.
All right, good that. Moments of hope, though, for Aston Villa. They've come back from losing positions the most this season, more than any other team in the league, but it's Arsenal ahead at the break. Well, Arsenal came from behind to take the lead against Aston Villa. Rachel Corsie own goal made it 1-1. For an in-swinger of a corner, pops back out to Viv Miedemar. 4 in 4 for the Arsenal striker now. Karen, Fern, 2-1 at the break. Fern, did you see enough from Aston Villa? We know that they've previously come back this season from losing positions, but you've seen enough from them that they will come back in the second half?
Yeah, I actually think they look lively in the first half. They created problems for Arsenal. I think Kenza Darley's looking really sharp, and not just in possession, but out of possession defensively with the counter-press, creating chances for them going forward as well. So I still think it could be quite tight in the second half, so Arsenal have to keep switched on.
Yeah, keep switched on, Arsenal. Do you see perhaps maybe them changing a few things heading into the second half?
Arsenal? No, not really. Just concentrate, and they've got the 3 points already. I do agree with Fern. There is elements of Aston Villa that are going to cause a problem, but stay defensively sound, stay switched on, and they should be fine.
All back out then. Jonas Eideveld looking to guide his Gunners team to 3 points that will take them level in the table with Chelsea ahead of Chelsea's match against Reading that will bring you after this one. Back to our commentary team then, Laura Bassett and Gary Taphouse.
Well, it's getting increasingly gloomy here with the freezing fog, but one thing is very clear. Arsenal have a magnificent record when leading at half-time. This is the size of the task facing Villa. Injury-hit Villa the last 37 times they've been in front at half-time in the WSL. Going back to 2019, they've won them all. That's some record, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm sure Carla Ward definitely won't be telling her team in that dressing room that stat, but for Arsenal, yeah, it's incredible. And I think their away form as well is impeccable too.
I think when you look at Arsenal, the fact that they've got a big home game against Lyon coming up in just, what, 4 days, they'd like to get this done and dusted as soon as possible. Villa will have other ideas. They, of course, have not got a game now until the 14th of January, Villa. They'll be going all out to get something from this. Arsenal have still got a couple of Champions League games before Christmas. Here come the home side, and they really did give it everything, didn't they, in that first half, despite all the players they've got missing. Great attitude. Carla Ward, I think, will be really pleased with the aptitude and their application and their endeavour. Sadly, they're still behind.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's about the belief, isn't it? I think we saw in moments of that first half, they believed, they were connecting the passes, they were moving well for each other. And then when times got a little bit tougher, a little bit grittier, you know, that's maybe when the belief dampened a little bit. So I'm sure she'll be ramping that up. Big 45 minutes, like you say, last 45 minutes of the year. You know, so go and express yourself. Go, be disciplined, be compact, stay together. But let's see. I'm sure she'll be saying, let's see how many problems that they can create for this Arsenal team.
And they're just keeping Arsenal waiting here. Arsenal ready to kick off, but a final huddle before the start of the second half for the home side. They did get a very creditable 0-0 draw at Meadow Park a couple of seasons ago. It's their only point against Arsenal in the WSL. I think they will feel that they need to get the first goal in this second 45. They're attacking the goal away to our left-hand side in this second period. Arsenal leading 2-1. And they'll certainly be looking to try and get a third to finish this game off from their perspective. And from their point of view, the sooner the better. As they said in the studio, we saw enough from Villa in that first half to suggest that they could yet cause problems. This is Moritz for Arsenal. Miedema to Rafaela. Catley inside to Valti. Dorsey in the way of that attempted through ball to Blackstenius. It's a free kick to Villa. Foul by Caitlin Ford. And have to get her boot back on here. Sarah Mailing.
Yeah, it's clever play from Sarah Mailing. Sometimes as a fullback, you have to stay on the ball a little bit longer. You can't always pass your way out of trouble. Stay on the ball, have more touches, maybe travel inside where the space is. Yes, you are going to get pressed, but sometimes that's when options open up, when you travel inside, and she did that.
Marnham. Wide it goes by Valti. This is Rafaela. Came into the back four in place of Leah Williamson. Great for Arsenal to have her back, but obviously being eased back after that injury. Probably play in the Champions League, I should think. Moritz. Wubenoy. Rafaela again, there's that diagonal, looking for McCabe. Waste no time in looking for Blackstenius. Dali gets it away.
I think what is noticeable in the first half, I think we saw Hansen and Lehmann start the game well as Dali and Daly. I think if Villa are to get back into this game, keep posing problems going forward, you know, Hansen and Lehmann certainly need to be more involved in the game than what we saw, you know, in the second part of the first half.
This is Alicia Lehmann. Went to ground and discussing that with the referee's assistant, but that wasn't a foul. Dali. We were saying before the game, weren't we, how much more consistent she's become. Dali offers so much to this Villa side.
Yeah, she does. She's just a player that you can give the ball to and you can trust. She knows what she's doing before she receives the ball. She has the confidence, the composure to stay on it. And when you stay on the ball longer, sometimes it gives other players time to make runs, so spaces open up. And she's just really intelligent. And then when she does see a pass, she has the execution and the technical ability to find the right ball at the right time.
Euro semi-finalist with France. Lost that semi-final to Germany last summer. Now, Rach Daly has gone down there. The referee is going to stop the game here.
Yeah, it's a good pass out from Hannah Hampton. That's the ability, that's what she gives you, her technical quality, low ball driven into Rach Daly, and when the ball comes at you, you need to protect it, you need to make sure, and you probably know that a defender, a centre-back, is going to be really tight up against you. Just looked like Wuben Moy put her foot out, ready to compete for the ball, and caught her. Again, innocuous, but again, when balls are fizzed at you down the centre of the pitch, you know that you're probably going to be coming under heavy pressure.
And those little contact injuries just even more painful when the temperature's barely above freezing.
Well, what you see a lot of centre forwards doing is as the balls come in, you push the centre back away, so it gives you a little bit more time and space to control the ball, so you can take the ball offline. But again, I don't think Rach Daly had enough time to do that.
Carla Ward certainly wouldn't want to lose another key player, but I'm sure she'll be okay to continue. Moritz. And again. Beaten to it that time though by Hansen. Valti. Trying to find a gap that wasn't really there on that occasion. Turner got it back to her goalkeeper. Looking solid at the start of this half, Aston Villa. Pacheco. Really good interception that was from Marnham. Villa have it again. Dali. Corsi. Good interception again from Valti. Sees those so quickly. Wide by Blackstenius to Catley. Rafaela. Wuben Moy. This is McCabe. Marnham. Miedemar. Lovely feet from Miedemar. He's got it out wide as well. Hoiked up in the air by Turner. Marnham. McCabe wants it back here, and she's got it. was a lovely attack from Arsenal. The shot though straight at Hannah Hampton.
You can tell Kate McCabe was frustrated with her effort there. A player of her technical quality, could probably do better. But again, good patient build-up from Arsenal. You can see the movement. Again, you can see Miedemar travelling into the box, drawing players, and then slipping it out to the left-hand side. But credit to Villa. I think we mentioned it in the first half. They were letting crosses come in and defending them poorly. But I think that was a better cross that they were defended. Got the first contact and marking players.
McCabe with the throw back to Moretz. Alti. Rafaela. Ford. It's been well pinched to go initially, Glenn Killer-Brown, but how quickly Arsenal get it back again. They've got a player down here. It's Lehmann.
I think Aston Villa really need to be mindful of that, don't they? They're winning the ball back well, but then giving Arsenal the ball back straight away. And when it's straight away, when you turn over possession straight away, you're back defending again and back in that mindset. Here's Alicia Lehmann, what she stayed down for again, a lunging tackle. I don't know if she gets any of the ball there or whether Caitlin Ford just overruns the play, but she's certainly in some discomfort. But already in this second half, we've certainly seen some poor technical passes, especially in the heart of the pitch in those central areas from both teams, both players.
Like you said, Laura, they want to get her more into the game. Started the season so well, didn't she, with a goal and an assist against Manchester City in that phenomenal 4-3 victory. She hasn't scored since then. In fact, just one Aston Villa goal since February. She was in the West Ham side that lost 9-1 to Arsenal a couple of years ago. Again, a very different feel to this one. Really battling hard here, Aston Villa. Mailing, Lehmann. Benefits from that ricochet, back to Mailing again. By McLaughlin. Dali. Lehmann will take it on here.
Good moves, real positive signs from Aston Villa. Again, comes from Kenza Dali, look. Again, you're looking at the highest player, Rachel Daly, but stretches the line and then can just slip Lehmann in there. And that's a really good chance. Again, opens her body up, faces forward. A routine save for Zinsberger in the end, but a really good space that Lehmann found then.
Lehmann's layoff to Mailing, now Dali. Good spell this for Villa. Plenty of space on this left side for Hansen. Lots of time to weigh up her options. Killer-Brown. Is it going to drop to Lehmann here? Dali! Well, it certainly fell to the right person, but she couldn't beat Zinsberger.
Again, really good play. Good switch, good ball into the box. And again, Lehmann, I thought she does really well. This is a really good knock-off. Okay, to do that first time, ball in the air. Yes, it's still bouncing, but like you say, Dali has the right technique, just not enough power or direction into the corner. Good spell for this Villa.
That ball forward for Killer-Brown just overhit McLaughlin finding Darley. She's looking for Daly. Offside this time, but that Darley-Daly combination is one we've seen many times this season.
Well, we spoke about Miedemar Blackstenius, but like you say, it's certainly Darley-Daly. Look, you can see her just peeling away. As soon as Darley receives the ball, Rach Daly's on her back shoulder. She's on the centre-back's back shoulder. She is offside there. Needs to go maybe forward or back, keep going back rather than get attracted to the goal. But again, 3 really good attacks, although 1 offside. But again, the moments are coming, the momentum's building a little bit.
Well, I'm sure many people were expecting Arsenal to come out here, all guns blazing, try and finish the game off. But all credit to Carla Ward's side for making a real game of it here. Marner to Leah Balti. Back to Frida Marner. Moritz. Dali. Brought down. She's the key, isn't she, for Villa?
She is, with the confidence to stay on the ball, like I was mentioning earlier, what that creates for everyone else, but also it draws those Arsenal midfielders into her. Draws the foul, very clever play.
Well, the familiar figure of Leah Williamson, who returned as substitute against Everton after 8 games out with the ankle injury she picked up on international duty. The player who captained England to the European Championship title last summer will come on for Rafaela Souza here. She got an hour in midweek, she's going to get half an hour here. The Arsenal fans in attendance, I think with 700 or 800 of them, made themselves heard there.
And it's really pleasing that Arsenal can keep building her minutes back up. And again, but I must shout out to Wubben Moy. You know, when she's playing next to Rafaela Souza, she goes on the right-hand side. Now Leah Williamson's come on. You know, she has to flip to the left-hand side. And that might seem a pretty routine thing to do, but actually when you're a centre-half, to play on the different sides, it's a total different, your angles, your body shape when you're receiving the ball and when you're defending. So all credit to her to have to readjust and adapt like that within the team.
Lehmann, Darley. Well seen by Miedemar, but Lehmann's got it again. Daly's making the run. Well, we're talking about Alicia Lehmann getting more and more into the game, and she's doing that.
Yeah, all credit to her, and it looked like she took a nasty knock, didn't it? But since then, she's revived, she's more on the ball, she's getting into some good spaces. You know, for Villa, they're certainly going to need her and Kirsty Hansen on the left-hand side.
An hour gone. No change to the half-time score. Down goes Catley. There's a foul by Lehmann. Certainly in the last 5 minutes or so, we've seen what Villa are all about. A couple of shots on target and bossing possession as well. You know, Arsenal are capable of producing something from nothing. This is what Ford is trying to do here. Linking up with Catley and now Leah Valti. Catley's made the run. Oh, Blackstenius can't get there, but you bet your life Katie McCabe can. And the captain has rifled it in to make it 3-1 to Arsenal. That could be a killer blow for the Gunners. Just after Villa had enjoyed that superb spell, that's what Arsenal are capable of, and that's what they've shown yet again.
That's right, just when you think you're getting on top or getting back into the game and posing a threat, they can do this to you. Leah Valti does well. She stays on the ball, gets pressed by Rach Daly, but then feeds a great ball into Catley. And again, here's that ball. She's been producing some fine crosses all game. Again, can Hannah Hampton go with her hands rather than her feet into that central space, where then it's just a perfectly timed run from McCabe and it's an easy tap-in the end.
A punch of the air from McCabe as she nets her first goal of the season. And what a bitter blow that is for Aston Villa. But a match Arsenal will know they had to win, and they're well on the way to doing that.
It's probably one of the hardest things to do when you're playing top teams at the top of the table. You know, it's the concentration. It's when you think you're enjoying, when you're involved in the game, when you're maybe not on top, but you're certainly competitive and you're posing a threat. It's those concentration levels in those big moments.
Maz Pacheco. Hansen. Pacheco again, decided not to cross because there's lots of Arsenal defenders in the box. She will here, but that's Zinsberger's ball.
Again, we haven't seen that link up between Hansen and Pacheco a lot in the game, but when they've done, that's a really good link up play, and now it's just about that final execution of the cross. Keep it away from Zinsberger, give your forwards, give Rach Daly a chance to come and get something on it, but just to give it back to the keepers, it's just so deflating as a player.
This is Caitlin Ford. We know that Carla Ward has very few options if she does want to change things up. Last week she brought on Emily Gielnik, and she might well look to do the same here. Maxtinius chasing this down. Moritz. The ball was on for Marnham. That's not where it went though. Williamson. Catley. Valti. As well seen by Pacheco. Wubben-Moy wriggled away from Daly. And tried to get the ball in. Valti. Really looking to turn the screw here now, Arsenal. Remember, they scored 11 times in the 2 meetings with Villa last season without reply. McCabe. Well, that didn't quite work out, but a few minutes ago, it certainly did.
Again, it's crosses, isn't it? Tracking your players. And again, Hannah Hampton does get something on it, but it's going straight into the heart of your goal just for a tap-in. You know, again, could it be defendable? But again, how dangerous Arsenal have been from those wide areas, from the crosses. You know, and Aston Villa have struggled to either stop the service or defend the actual cross when it's in the 18-yard box.
So Olivia McLaughlin has been replaced by Gielnik, the Australian forward. 1 goal this season. Came on as sub in the win at Leicester at the end of September and scored 2-0 victory.
I mean, Emily Gielnik's certainly a tall, physical player, a target player, so if Aston Villa do get higher up, more territory up the pitch, certainly for crosses themselves and for set pieces, you know, she's certainly a go-to player along with Rachel Daly that could really hurt this Arsenal team.
McCabe actually bisected the space between the two players she could have looked for there. When they're in possession now, Villa basically 4-4-2, but that might create more spaces for Arsenal to exploit. I'm sure Carla Ward feels she's got to go for it here midway through the second half, 3-1 down. Leah Valti.
I think Leah Valti's been key for Arsenal today. Both out of possession, she's made some key interceptions, but in possession as well, she's controlling the rhythm, not forcing it, allowing her team to be patient, opening up the right spaces and just being there in the right position, reading the situation and what the game needs.
Here come Arsenal again, punched away by Hannah Hampton. Got a good distance on that one. Marnham. Well, that's flicked on and she might take it on here. That was Ford with the volley, appealing for handball against Sarah Mailing. Miedemar. Williamson. McCabe. Williamson's ball in. Hampton decided to come. The ball's bouncing dangerously close to the line. Danielle Turner eventually takes charge and hoiks it away.
That's the key thing, isn't it, about taking charge? I'm sure the Villa defenders were looking at each other as if say, who's going to do something about it? And they were lucky that an Arsenal forward wasn't about to pounce. Again, that communication needs to be a little bit more crisp if they're not going to concede any more.
Williamson. Miedemar.
I'm sure Jonas Eidevall would like these standards to be driven higher, to get more goals. This is a wonderful ball from Leah Williamson. Again, it does draw Hannah Hampton out. She comes to punch, but can she get back on? She's the one that can pick it up. Can she go and deal with that situation? Again, I think they're waiting for the keeper to come. They're just not on the same page, and luckily Dan Turner steps up and clears it before Miedemar does something.
She's just requiring some treatment here, Hannah Hampton. But Arsenal making changes. Laura Wienerreuter coming on here for Noelle Moritz. Wienerreuter, the Austrian fullback. He was brought to the club from Hoffenheim in January. And there is Jordan Nobbs. And WSL's all-time leading scorer, Miedemar, who's added another one to the tally here, up to 78 WSL goals. She makes way. Hampton back on her feet at the other end. I'm sure Carla Ward looking on rather enviously at the quality that her opposite number is able to bring on.
You're right, the substitutions, the depth of your squads allows you to keep the intensity of the game, keeps the energy. You know, it adds that extra spice and the intensity to keep pressing if you're out of possession, or to keep the speed of play. Jordan Nobbs will give energy to this Arsenal midfield and runs in behind. It just allows you to give a different dimension for the final 20 minutes.
Villa still plugging away here. Hansen. Daly's header, looking for Gielnik. Stayed in play. Again, not much of a Villa presence in the box that time. Arsenal have got these two Champions League games before Christmas. Their next WSL game is One to savour. Home to Chelsea, 15th of January. Make a note of that one, everyone. It will be live here on Sky Sports, by the way, in a month's time.
It's certainly one for the diaries, isn't it?
It certainly is.
And it's always a strange one coming back. But there's Leah Volti in the shot. She had the most touches.
Just quietly gets on with the job, doesn't she?
She does, but I think Jonas Eidevall can also put a lot of trust in her. Just, you know, keep driving the standards, doing the right thing, communicating, be the heartbeat of the team. And I think that's, you know, for me so far, she's the standout player. She can just dictate in both half of the pitches. You know, because I wouldn't say so far it hasn't been the most fluid Arsenal performance that I've seen.
Lehmann for Aston Villa. Pushed away by Zinsberger, comes out to Pacheco. Didn't have the time she would have wanted. Well, Lehmann decided that going for goal was the best option, and she certainly hit it with some power here.
Again, she's getting some good space. Good decision on that right-hand side, isn't it? And again, Zinsberger, and that's the difference. If in the Villa box, it probably would have fouled to an Arsenal player, but Arsenal were there ready to pick up the second ball.
Williamson, good header. Pacheco. Dali. They have given so much to this game, Villa. Continue to do so. Dali has found Hansen. Gielnik was waiting just behind Leah Williamson. At the other end, Caitlin Ford shrugging off Pacheco. And the layoff is certainly one that Blackstenius will wish she had exploited. Miles over in the end.
Caitlin Ford does so well. Good ball from Marnham in behind again, but she drives straight. Get yourself in the 18-yard box. Good run by Jordan Nobbs to create Caitlin Ford even more space. And then Marnham, she's got to get that on target. Again, good little layoff. Hit that first time. Or even drop a shoulder, open the goal up, come on your left. But again, got to hit that on target. And they're the things that I think Jonas Eidevall will be trying to scream instructions from. Keep your standards high. Let's get more goals. Let's really push on. Because again, like you say, they're in a really good space in Champions League. But let's take these good habits, good connections into the next 2 games before Christmas.
Gielnik. Wide by Corsi. Lehmann wants the return, and she gets it as well. Lovely run by Alicia Lehmann. And the eventual effort from Hansen on the turn. Well, the 2 wide players involved there.
Again, it's Alicia Lehmann, isn't it? Dropping deeper, getting a little bit more space. Good 1-2 on the back shoulder. And again, causing all sorts of problems. And again, Kirsty Hansen decides to hit this first time. It is curling, but I think it's easy for Zinsberger to make that save. Again, but it's all coming from Alicia Lehmann. She's the go-to player, changing it this second half. She certainly has the beating of Catley, and when Malin joins in higher up, they certainly combine really well.
A bit of goal now would set up a thrilling finale. They have threatened. Equally, there's always that feeling that Arsenal can produce something out of nothing and finish the game off. Malin, Lehmann. Corsi. Winkler Brown. Looking for Gielnik again. Williamson's positioning absolutely spot on. Wienreuter scored her first Arsenal goal in the match at the Emirates against Manchester United. What a thriller that was last month. "12 minutes left here. Arsenal looking good for an 8th consecutive WSL away win. Ford. Marnham all the way through. She'd have backed herself there, McCabe. Difficult chance.
Yeah, it comes from Leah Williamson, stepping in, stepping higher. This is what she gives you, ultimate composure. Again, sliding Marnham down the side. It's a fierce cross, isn't it? But again, wonderful touch to set you up. But again, just goes for the sidewinder. Good body shape, but again, connecting with the ball under it instead of trying to get your foot over it. But again, really good combination down this right-hand side with Leah Williamson stepping in, drawing the Villa defenders so that she can slide the free player.
Mailing. Lehman. A really good battle between Lehman and Catley in the second half.
Yeah, I think the last couple of times Lehman's going for tricks and flicks, isn't she, rather than securing it, giving and go, using the things that have been working for her. She's trying to maybe be a bit too fancy and allowing Catley to get back into that 1v1 battle with her.
Williamson. No problem for Hannah Hampton. Winkler Brown. Corsi. Dali. Oh, the ball was on for Lehman, but see if Catley read that. Williamson. Wienreuter. Marnham. Ford. It's a corner. Hansen just got a touch.
Again, Arsenal certainly looked really dangerous down this right-hand side. The connections are there. Williamson, Marnham, Ford. You know, the interchange of the position, their movement, the ball speed, just look really dangerous down this right-hand side.
Saw Steph Catley score direct from a corner a few weeks ago against Leicester from an in-swinger. 4th corner for the Gunners. She's gone short with this one. And the layoff was well seen by Laura Winkler Brown. If you're going to do that, you might as well do it when you're 3-1 up. Looking to keep the ball here now. Arsenal looking comfortable. A 2-goal cushion given to them by their captain McCabe. Absolutely crucial, that 3rd goal. It certainly rarely looked like being a 7-0, which was what it was when they met in May. Considering how their resources are very low at the moment, Villa, they've made a real game of this. Looking to nip in here is Ford, and there's a square ball, and the queue is forming, and she's buried that one. Jordan Nobbs in the right place to steer it home and make it 4-1. And they just had so many players in the box there, Arsenal. It's tough on Villa, but there's no doubt about where the points are going now.
That's right, I think the substitutions have made a difference. Leah Williamson with her ball playing, but again, Jordan Nobbs, what an impact to make. Again, great work by Ford, spinning a Dan Turner, driving into the box, and it's a simple tap-in, isn't it? Really disappointing from from Aston Villa's point of view. Like you say, they were just queuing up, but again, good composure from Ford. And Jordan Nobbs doesn't miss from there, and she'll be delighted to make such an impact in the game. But again, that's the luxury that Jonas Eidevall has, to bring in these top quality substitutions or game changers, game finishers, whatever you want to call it, that Carla Ward simply doesn't have at the moment.
3 days after her 30th birthday, Jordan Nobbs nets her 3rd of the season. Player who's been at Arsenal for over 12 years. Of course, this is Arsenal's 200th WSL match. She played in the first one all those years ago, 2011.
Makes her sound like a 40-year-old, not a 30-year-old.
Scored in this fixture last season as well. Jordan Nobbs, the 4-0. I mentioned that they needed to be a bit more clinical after the last couple of games, and they certainly have been today. Villa making a sub here. Is a Goodwin coming on for Lehmann. Just her 3rd sub appearance of the season in the WSL. Goodwin. Off goes Caitlin Ford to be replaced by Mana Iwabuchi, the Japanese international midfielder, former Villa player of course. Played 13 times for Aston Villa in the WSL last year before moving on. Reuters ball in. Corsi. Just a reminder, we'll be off to Kingsmeadow next for the champions, Chelsea against Reading. 6:45 kickoff there. Iwabuchi has found Blackstenius. Hampton holds on. Pretty chilly up here on the Villa Park gantry. Got a feeling it might be even colder for Jackie Oatley and Sue Smith. Laura?
They'll be fully prepared, don't worry about that.
Oh, I know they will. Jackie's got all the gadgets. Wide it goes. Daly out to the right-hand side. Is there another goal in this for Aston Villa, I wonder? Gielnik. Glenn-Killer-Brown. Looking for offside there, Arsenal. Flag stays down. Goodwin was in the middle. never once stopped looking to cause problems for Arsenal, have they, Villa?
No, that's right. And that's been a change of mentality, change of intensity, and also that's what comes with confidence. Again, it's about building the performance. What can they learn from? But again, when you have such talented international forwards, you can always create problems if you give them good quality balls.
Hansen. Pacheco on this near side. Couple of minutes of normal time to play here. Dali. Well, 3 players in a podcast is a pod that is well worth a listen. Jen Beattie is one of those 3 players. And there she is on the bench. It's a terrific listen, available now wherever you get your pods from. Have a listen to that on the way home, Laura.
Yeah, certainly will do.
Pacheco. Killer Brown. Wants the return. She might take it on here. Oh, what a block that was from Leah Williamson. Nice turn by Daly. Hansen. Pacheco. Dali. Daly. Turner with a little layoff here for Dali. Still looking to nick it high up the pitch. They're so good at that, aren't they? Villa still pressing for another goal here. Hansen went down, there was no foul, but it's still on for them with Goodwin. The layoff of Linkiller Brown. We move into 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the game. It's a strong finish from the home side.
Certainly is causing lots of problems. Good to see Goodwin getting involved, making herself, she's certainly a big physical player, making herself a handful in the 18-yard box.
Dali. Out it goes. Well, you get the job, Laura, of naming player of the match. Who are you going for?
I think there's been some solid performances from Arsenal. I think Miedemar's done well, McCabe's done well, but this player here, you know, her touches, passes in the final third, but also it's the other side of the game. When they weren't playing so well at the start of the game, intercepting the passes, communicating her energy, the ground she covers, and then in possession, she just keeps this team ticking. She knows what's needed in what situation, and she's the heartbeat.
Gielnik looking to get the cross in. Williamson's header away. Once again, impeccable positioning. Pacheco. Dali. Corsi. Wienreuter got the first contact. Now it's Valti. Iwabuchi looking for Blackstenius. Decided to go out to the left. Maybe the better ball would have been for McCabe. Not that it matters a great deal at this stage.
I think she looked first time, and I think she knew Jordan Nobbs was running, but by the time she played the ball, the picture had completely changed and Malin was making that recovery run. So it was the poor decision in the end.
Well, it's going to be an excellent victory in the end, isn't it? For Jonas Eidevall, he's won 80% of his WSL matches since taking charge 18 months ago. A tough one for Carla Ward, but it is a terrific victory for Arsenal, and it's another club record. They've won 8 WSL away games in a row, conceding just 1 in those matches, and it came in this game when Hansen scored early on, but they roared back Arsenal. They did really well after conceding to save face, and now they are right back in the title race. It's finished. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 4.
Gary, Laura, thank you. Yeah, right back in that race ahead of our next match, Chelsea against Reading. Arsenal moving level on points with Chelsea at the top of the table, and how crucial some of those goals in that second half could be come the end of the season. Also the first time that Arsenal have won 8 in a row on the road in the league. Another record falls for this Arsenal team. Will the season end with them top of the table? So that the latest on this Sunday of results. We had 2 matches called off because of the frosty old weather. It finished in the Manchester derby 1-1. Manchester United took the lead in that one. Laura Coombs equalised for Manchester City. West Ham won 2-0 at Spurs. West Ham actually missed the first half penalty in that one. And 4-1 winners Arsenal at Aston Villa. So here is the top of your WSL table ahead of the next 90 minutes. Level on points then Arsenal with Chelsea. Chelsea with that superior goal difference. And of course another 90 minutes to come for them. Aston Villa dropped to 6th in the WSL table following that win for West Ham earlier. So from the Holt end, as we see the fog moving in, it's a frosty old day. Chelsea against Reading, kick-off 6:45 in that one. Not long to go before we're back at Kings Meadow. Fern and Karen here will get plenty of reaction then to that win for Arsenal. Big win for the Gunners. Then talk about record-breaking as well. Closes up the top of the table as Arsenal put 4 over Aston Villa, and that title is far from done. After turning it around and being 2-1 up at half-time, Arsenal pressed home their advantage in the second half. Captain Katie McCabe made it 3-1 on 62 minutes. Bit of a scramble in front of goal for Villa. Then it was 4-1 after great work from Ford. Arsenal were queuing up. Nobbs at the front of that queue. 4-1 on the night. That result taking Arsenal level on points with Chelsea at the top of the table. Chelsea Reading to come here on Sky Sports. Look at the shots on target from both sides. Villa 6, Arsenal 7. Expected goals 1.73 from Arsenal. 4-1 winners. Let's hear from the player of the match, Leah Vulty with Lindsay.
Post-match interview with Leah Vulty from Arsenal. Lindsay Hooper with the questions for Sky Sports. Leah, it wasn't the start to the game that you wanted, but in the end you saw it out just fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think we gave them a bit too much space at the start, but I think what we're doing really good at the moment is then to find the control of the game, to then let the ball run, create chances, and today I feel like we did really well after the first 20 minutes.
Does it feel even more satisfying when you turn a game around?
Yeah, definitely. But to be honest, I wouldn't mind if we wouldn't concede at the start. It makes it a bit harder. I feel like in some games it can be even more difficult if an opponent stands really deep then to score. So we need to avoid those goals. But in the end, it's all that matters that we won, and I don't mind if we concede first.
You had a lot of responsibility, both areas of the pitch. What was that like for you to play in?
Well, yeah, just trying to fill the gap between our attacking and defending line. I feel like picking up the balls, trying to prevent our team from counter-attacks and give our 10s the ball to create chances. And I think today Viv was in great positions all the time to pick up the ball, and it's great to have those players around me. Make me probably look better as well in the game.
4 goals. We are used to seeing spectacular finishes from Arsenal, but for most of these it was about being in the right place at the right time, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's what I said before. We're doing that really well at the moment. We score in the right moment and makes it really hard for the opponent to then come back into the game. And we do have really good players coming on from the bench as well, which can make a difference. And I feel like it's great to be part of that team at the moment. We go for the last 2 games of the year next week.
There are, of course, lots of things to navigate throughout a season, but you go into the Christmas break with another win here. You had a win midweek. How is the dressing room feeling at the minute?
Well, it's been good. It's good because we got lots of players back now. I feel like we were a bit of a small squad in the last couple of weeks. We managed it pretty well with keep winning the games, but it's just good to have everyone together. Everybody has a smile on the face, and it's just fun to play football at Arsenal at the moment.
And an extra gift for you for Christmas because you are Barclays Player of the Match for today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Have a good Christmas.
Thank you. Will do. You too.
Thank you.
And you, that was Lindsay Hooper for Sky Sports. Fern, when you look at that result, was that a different Arsenal performance?
Yeah, I mean, you could say different. I think I'd say it was professional performance from them. I don't think it was very scintillating or kind of over the top. They were, as you say, they were in the right place at the right times to score the goals. I think Villa will be disappointed in the way they conceded some of the goals today. But look, you know, Arsenal at the top of the table or joint top come Christmas, so I think they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they conceded a goal. They went behind Arsenal, went 2-1 up at half-time, then 3-1 shortly after, 62 minutes from Captain McCabe.
Yeah, I think Arsenal worked it really well, especially down the sides. I agree with Fern. I think Villa will be frustrated with the defence. You see they're mailing and they're just switching off. Right winger, right back, switching off, getting done in behind. And it's just a good ball in. And again, Hannah Hampton will be disappointed just to palm it into that 6-yard area there. It's just well worked. Again, Volti with a great ball in behind. Just put it into a good area. But I agree, Arsenal have just done what's needed to be done today. Got the job done, and they've got a big game again against Lyon coming up. So they've managed the period really well.
And you're right to highlight Volti then again, Laura Bassett making a player of the match and her quality and her strength. And that fourth goal, we said it, they were just queuing up for it.
Yeah, they were. Again, it comes from a throw-in on this right-hand side. So, again, Villa will be disappointed. But Caitlin Ford does really well to spin the defender. As you say, there's 2 players queuing up there on the back post. But Jordan Nobbs is the player that it falls to, and she does really well to finish it. But you'd want to, if you're Dan Turner there, clear your lines a lot earlier than she did. And, obviously, they're not close enough to Villa defenders, for me, to be able to affect the shot.
I think from Villa, obviously, when they conceded the first goal then, I think the confidence just went from them, and Arsenal, as Volti said, gained control of the game and just kind of did what they needed to do. But I think Villa, you can see they're a light squad. They just want to get to the new year now, get players back or go into the window and regroup.
I think Alicia Lehmann in the second half came a little bit to life. She was a little bit of a bright spark for them going forward. She was positive. But, however, they've shown real good signs going forward, but defensively need to tighten up. You've got players playing out of position across the back line as well.
All right, we will get more reaction from that result for Arsenal between now and just after 9 o'clock, because we've got another match on the way. It's a frosty old Kings Meadow. Well, it was at least earlier, doing their best to clear the pitch, but was it all in vain? Because after that earlier, the snow came down. Chelsea, the first side in the WSL to host 100 matches, and it's a wintry scene that greets the fans and Reading next.